Welcome to yet again another Microsoft Excel foundation class, and today we'll be looking at commonly used Excel functions and formulas. Alright, this is where we get to the part where we begin to look at some really cool stuff in Excel. And without wasting any much time, I want you to open the workbook we've been using, and we are on class 07 now. And I'll just quickly jump into this. Now, if you go to your menus, there is this formula menu, right, where you have the whole function library and formula library here. Alright, but you can explore this by yourself and just go through. By highlighting each of them, it gives you what it does. Just by going through each of them, you can hold on, then you see the information about what each of them does. Well, there will be no time for us to look at how to do each of these, so I will just quickly look at the commonly used ones here. Possibly in the advanced class and in other subsequent classes, we are going to see how to use some of other advanced formulas and functions. Alright, so the common formulas are the plus, the minus, the times, which we call multiplication, and the divide. Alright, so I have this piece of data here, which are numbers, which we want to add using this. So when we talk about formulas, how do we go about formulas? Every formula or function you write begins with an equal to sign. Alright, so we are going to add up these four numbers and display the result here, and add up these two numbers here and display the result here. So quickly here, we'll start with the equal to sign. Then you click on the first one, plus, click on the second one, plus, click on the third one, plus, and you click on the last one, and you press the enter button on your keyboard, and then you get this answer. For this as well, equal to, you can decide to click the same way we click, or you can just do G4 plus H4 is the same thing by clicking plus clicking this as well. So we press enter, and that is your result. So if you decide to change any of these values, the result will be adjusted accordingly. Let's go to this. We want to subtract this number from this. Come here, equal to the biggest number, which is this first one here, then minus on your keyboard this, enter, gives you this. Let's subtract 11 from 500, equal to 500 minus 11, enter, you get this. If you adjust any of the values here, like you take this to 550 for example, all the values will be adjusted. Alright, so we'll go over to this column here, which is the multiplication column. So we want to multiply times all these numbers together. I'll come here, equal to this times this times this times, where is this value? M what? M8 times M8. Sorry, M7 here. So this is the answer you get. I want to multiply these two across this way. Equal to this times this, you get this. In case you're wondering why I'm doing vertically, I'm doing horizontally as well, doing across the column and doing across the row for each of them, is because there are some times where you need to perform an arithmetic operation along the same row or along the same column. So I'm just trying to show you that it's possible. Let's divide this. Let's divide 65 by 13, equal to the highest number, which is 65, or the first number rather, divide by, so that's use the backslash 13. So you don't do 65 by 13, you actually do the cell where it's located over the cell, which is this, right? So the same thing here, equal to this cell over this cell. Alright, so take note of how everything here is working, and these are the accurate values for each of these. Alright, so take note, when you are adding, you don't do equal to 500 plus 1000 here. No, you just click on the cells where the values are represented, so that each time you want to change the values in those cells, the result will be adjusted accordingly. Alright, so these are simple arithmetic operations which are commonly used formulas in Microsoft Excel. It's also important to note that the concept of relative and absolute cell referencing that we learned in some previous videos in this Microsoft Excel Foundation class also applies here. If you have a set of data where you need to multiply, or let's say you want to add a particular value from a different column to one particular value from another column continuously, like let's say you need to multiply 500 by 100, 1000 by 100. Remember that you may need to visit that video where we learned about cell referencing. So cell referencing can also be used in conjunction with formulas as well. So let's go to functions quickly. When you talk about functions, we don't have to write things like plus. We don't have to write things like plus here, or use minus here, or use this symbol times here, or use the divide symbol or any other symbol you want to use. We're simply talking about named parameters that perform the same or more functions. So each of these are functions, and these are some commonly used functions. Like I said, you can look at each of these and see the one that meets the particular need that you want to use at the same time. But for now, we're going to just give you the basic idea of how functions work and how you can use it. So we have a sample data here, right? So take note, I intentionally highlighted this to this blank space here so I can be able to show you completely what each of these does. But the data is from G12 to G18, but I'm going to highlight from here to here, and we're going to work from G8 to G19. Alright, so average is used to determine the average value of these values, list of values, the average value of this list of values. If you know how to calculate average, which is simply you find a midpoint by the time you add up all this data and divide by the number of data. So you add up everything here and divide by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. Alright, so I'm going to select from here to here, and in here I'm going to determine what the average is inside here. Alright, so for average we write equal to average, equal to average. Notice that while writing I got this IntelliSense here, which means that it recognizes that I want to perform an average. So if you look at the instruction, it said returns an arithmetic mean of its argument. So I'm going to put a range here. I'm going to open a bracket here, and it takes different parameters. Alright, so I'm going to enter the first range here, which is here, and I'm going to put a column and go to the last value here. Like I said, I'm going to use this empty space here, and I'm going to close the bracket. So notice it becomes equal to average G12, that's from here to G19, and I'll do enter, and this is my average. So you may confirm this now using your calculator, and I observe that the effect of this empty space did not have any effect on this. Alright, so But if I go ahead and add a value here, let's say 89, notice that the average will be adjusted accordingly. So I'll go ahead and take that away for now, because like I said, I want to use this empty space to show some important functionalities for each of these, or for some of these rather. Alright, so count, what count does, count returns the total number of elements in this list. So if we are to count, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is pretty easy, but when we have like a whole lot of data, let's say something like this, then, and they're all data, you may not be able to count at once how many numbers are here. So we use count to do that. So I'll come here and do equal to count, open the bracket. I will select here to the range where I want it to be. Alright, so I can select here, do column, and to the last place here, like I said, I'm going to use here, and I'll close the bracket. I'll do this, and it gives me 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once again, it ignored here. So I'm showing you this so that you know that if you add an empty space, it's going to ignore it. I'm going to count just the numbers for you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 cells with numbers. So the total number of cells with numbers are 7. Alright. So the next one is the CountA function, which is almost similar to the count function. The count function returns the total number in the list. The CountA returns the total number of cells that are not empty. Right, so in this example, it's going to return the same value, but in larger examples where you have larger data, you may see very little differences. So we'll go and do equal to CountA, okay, and open the bracket here. So what I used to do was to click here, then do column to the last value. Well, I can show you a simpler method. Once I open the bracket, I can just click and drag down to where I want to stop. Start here, drag down to this place, and notice it does the same thing for me, G12 column G19, and then I'm going to close the bracket and click on enter. Like I said, it's going to give us 7. The CountBlank is going to return the total number of empty. That's why this is the reason why I had to leave here, so that because of the CountBlank, so you see how it works. It's going to return the total number of empty cells in a list of values. So in case you're wondering whether there are pockets of spaces in your data, you can use CountBlank to verify. So I'm going to do equal to count blank, equal to count blank, open my bracket, select my range, then close my bracket, and it's going to give us 1. So this is the 1 blank space. So if I should add a value there now, notice that the blank has gone. Alright, so I'm going to delete this value here. The max returns the maximum value in a list of data. So we don't know the highest value here because this value is quite small. This data is quite small, so we can say that this is a maximum value. But imagine you have a whole lot of cells with data. You can't tell from a glance which is the maximum value. This will help you know the maximum value from a glance. Alright, so the max, how we do it is equal to max, open a bracket, then we'll select the range we are testing, and we'll close the bracket, and it gives us 1108. Minimum does the opposite, equal to mean, open the bracket, select the range of data you are testing, close the bracket, and it gives you 23. Okay. Alright, so for round, we need to round up to some decimal places for round. So for us to practicalize the round function, I'm going to round the average here to some decimal places. Since the average here contains some decimals, it will be best to use it to demonstrate how the round function works. So I'm going to do equal to round and open my brackets. So you see it takes 2 arguments, the number, that's the cell, where you want to round up and number of digits you want to round up a decimal to. So let's say I want to round up to 2 decimal places. I'll go ahead and click this, then I'll do comma. Notice that the next instruction here says comma. I'll do comma here. Now how many number of digits? Let's say 2 decimal places, and I'll close the comma and I'll get it. 522.57. Sum. So sum is the function used instead of using the plus sign for addition. Alright, so here if I were to add up these values here, instead of doing equal to 400 plus 650 plus this, I'll just do here equal to sum, open my bracket. I can do click on this first cell, comma. Please don't type 400 there, just click on the cell, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this, comma, this. Then like we said, we want to consider this empty cell, comma, this, then close the bracket. It will give you the sum. But this to me, if you're going to add up everything in that range, what I usually do, I'll go ahead and delete this. What I usually do is to just do the range instead of using comma. Sum, equal. Remember, every function or formula starts with equal to sign. Equal to sum. Open the bracket and just select this range. Then close the bracket and do it the same answer. All right. So product is to multiply. So let's say I want to multiply these first two together. Instead of using times, you can just use equal to product here. Equal to product. Open it up. The first one, comma, not times now, comma. The second one, you can, if you want to do more, you can do comma this, comma this, comma this. But if you're going to stop in G12 and G13, I'm going to cover the bracket here and I'll do enter. As a result, you can confirm that with your calculator. Quotient is simply division. Equal to quotient. Open the bracket. The numerator is the value that is going to be on top, and which is usually the highest value. So let's say I want to divide 650 by 400. 650. That's the numerator here. But it can be 400 if you want to get a decimal place. Depends on what your numerator is. But for mine, I prefer my own to be the largest number. But depending on what you are doing and depending on the condition in which you want your answer to be, your numerator should be correct always. So mine is 650, comma, denominator is this, which is G12. So I'm going to close this and I'll do this. I'll get 1. You're wondering why the answer is 1, right? But one thing, however, about this quotient is that your decimal place will not be, your decimals will not be shown. So rather, instead of using quotient, you want to perform a real division, you can just use the formula, which is this slash here, right? So these are some of the commonly used Excel formulas and functions, and we'll be applying some of them in our subsequent classes. We'll be applying some of them in our subsequent tutorial videos as we'll continue the foundation and the advanced class. Alright, so for the rest of the formulas, like I said, we'll be looking at some in the next subsequent videos, but you can come to formula tab here and check out what some of these functions and formulas what they do, and then just practicalize with them. Equal to CHAR, then carry out some things and see what it does. Equal to LEN, the length of the number of characters in the string text. Just experiment with some of this. I want to also say that the round function has round up and round down. You can try that out. So I want you to do that as an exercise. Do the round up, do the round down, then try out some of this and let me know what you think in the comment below. Make sure you keep sharing video and subscribe, and see you in the next class.